Hey guys, today we're going to be discussing the best and worst makeup brands according to all of you. And I have so enjoyed doing this series. I've done a couple of videos already where you guys talked about your favorite drugstore products and your favorite high-end products. Today we're going to be specifically focusing on the brands themselves and the reasons why you do like them or you don't like them. And there were actually some really surprising results here, along with some things that I wasn't super surprised about. But that's one of the reasons I love doing these videos, is to hear from all of you and what you're thinking, because usually it's just me sitting here telling you guys what I like and don't like. So these videos are always a little bit eye-opening. So let's go ahead. I guess we'll start with the positive and we'll talk about the brands that you love the most, and then I'll follow that up with the brands you like the least. And what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to talk about the 5 best that you like overall, both drugstore and high-end, and then I'll just quickly break it up into 2 different categories. So we'll talk about your top 5 drugstore, top 5 high-end. So the best overall brand, this brand had the most votes out of hundreds, almost 1,000 entries, and that was Colourpop. Now, some of you may be surprised by that. I wasn't, because Colourpop is also one of my favorite brands, and I think the reason why I love Colourpop so much is not just because the quality is really good and the prices are low, but also, like, I don't ever get bored with Colourpop. Yes, they do release a lot of products, but I don't buy everything that comes out. I feel like there's so much variety that I can really pick and choose what I like and what I don't. And another thing that I really love about Colourpop is that they're made in the United States, and a lot of really affordable brands are not. So, you know, you kind of have to worry sometimes, like, is the quality okay? Are the ingredients that they're using like up to standard? Are they made in a sweatshop? There's a lot of different things that, you know, when you don't know where something is made, it can be a little bit worrisome. And I think just knowing that they own their own factory right in California, like, it just, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. So let's see some of your responses and why you guys love Colourpop so much. The first one is, while I may not be waiting anxiously for their new releases, I think their products are consistent and affordable. I'd probably be more excited for new releases if they did fewer and less overlaps. The next one is good quality and affordable. The next one says great quality and affordable with lots of options in color, formula, and finish. This brand has consistently good products. The quality is always there and you can't beat the price. I love their eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good sampling of the responses that I got. Everybody kind of said the same thing. The second best makeup brand that we have out of all makeup brands according to you is e.l.f. And that actually didn't surprise me either, because e.l.f. is really affordable, yet I think the quality is good. I think they're a little more hit and miss for me than Colourpop, especially when it comes to their eyeshadow formula and some of their complexion products. But I think like e.l.f. has amazing blushes. They have really good primers. They're often duping high-end brands and doing it well. So I definitely feel like e.l.f. is one of my favorite brands for sure. So let's read a couple of your responses. Somebody said, as someone who has a budget for makeup, skincare, and everyday hygiene products, e.l.f. is affordable and good quality. That's true. They actually do have really good skincare as well. e.l.f. is my favorite brand. Their Halo Glow Primer is phenomenal. Their skincare is good. Their brushes and tools have always been the best in the drugstore. They provide high quality products at a very affordable price, proving you don't have to pay a lot for good makeup and skincare. Affordable, many great products across all types: eyeshadow, blush, skincare, brows, setting spray, neat collabs. And also some of you guys mentioned that they're cruelty-free, which you like as well. So yeah, e.l.f. just had so many votes. Brand number 3 out of all the makeup brands out there kind of surprised me a little bit. It was Huda Beauty. Not that I don't love Huda's eyeshadow palettes, but I think that's what I think about when it comes to Huda Beauty the most. I'm not like the biggest fan of her complexion products. Generally, they don't work for me. I did like her foundation stick, but her liquid foundation was like really drying on me. Same thing with her concealer. I guess I do like her marbleized blushes and bronzers. I think those are really good. I haven't tried any of her lip products in a while, but I felt like her bullet lipsticks were pretty good. So let's see what you guys had to say about Huda Beauty. This one says the shadows are creamy and easy to work with. The color stories include everyday shades as well as pops of color, the different textures of eyeshadows. Another one just said great formula. This one says not only are her eyeshadows the best and so blendable, but her bronzer, blushes, and mascara are my holy grail. So I feel like most people are talking about eyeshadows when it comes to Huda Beauty, but a few people did mention her other products as well. Brand number 4 is Natasha Denona, and I feel like this is probably going to be about eyeshadow as well because I think that's what she's most known for. So let me just go to my spreadsheet and I'll see what you guys are saying. Yeah, the first one says their eyeshadow formula is the best on the market. The next one says the formulas are incredible and the color stories are unusual but not unwearable. I only have a couple of things, but I'm enjoying them a lot. Natasha Denona has a fantastic formula in all caps. The shadows practically blend themselves, plus there's just something luxuriously beautiful about the whole brand. I feel like I'm getting what I pay for. Best eyeshadow ever. The eyeshadows are amazing. So yeah, I feel like, again, most of the responses here, you're just thinking about eyeshadow palettes versus like full brand. But I do agree with some of the comments. I mean, I think I struggle with her formula because it is so pigmented and I sometimes have trouble blending. But when it comes to like the color stories, the overall appeal of her palettes, that's the reason why I keep buying them, just because I love what she comes up with. But I honestly haven't tried a lot from the rest of her line, so I can't really speak to that. And then your top favorite brand, number 5, is Rare Beauty. So this is another brand I don't have a lot of experience with. I know I tested out a couple products when the brand first launched. I did a video on it. And then ever since then, I haven't really gone back. And I don't know why, because I did feel like the products were really nice that I did try. So I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking about Rare Beauty. Let's see. One of the responses says the products tend to be easy to work with, great formulas and colors, and they aren't too expensive, meaning I can try out new things a bit more often. The next one says, I love the message Rare Beauty makes when it comes to their products. We're all perfectly imperfect, and how it is absolutely okay to embrace our natural beauty if we do not wish to cover it up completely with makeup. I have nothing against full coverage, but I love nothing more than using products that enhance what I already have. And this is one of the only brands that when I wear a full face of their products, I feel my most beautiful. Another one says quality, pigmentation, not overpriced. I love what Selena stands for with her brand. Also, her products are beautiful, especially the ones I've tried. The quality is always consistent. The price point is reasonable. Their products are perfect for the everyday makeup wearer who wants a natural makeup look. So you guys are actually kind of talking me into trying more Rare Beauty because I feel like that's me. I love natural makeup, and it seems like so many of you guys are saying that, you know, you feel more beautiful when you wear her products and that they're more about enhancing your natural beauty versus covering it up, and I love that. So now I'm definitely interested in trying a few more things from her line. All right, so those were your top 5 makeup brands across the board, both drugstore and high-end. So I thought it was interesting that the top 2 that got the way most votes were drugstore, and then the last 3 were high-end. So I also went through and tallied up your top 5 drugstore and top 5 high-end. So let's just go through those really quick. Top 5 drugstore, of course, Colourpop, then e.l.f., because those were the top 2 of all. In the number 3 spot was Milani. In the number 4 spot was Moira, which really surprised me because I feel like they're still not a very well-known brand, but I suppose a lot of the people taking the survey watch my channel, and I do talk about Moira a lot, so that kind of makes sense in a way. And then at number 5, it was actually tied. It was Maybelline and Essence at number 5. And then when it comes to your top 5 high-end formulas, again, we have Huda Beauty at number 1, Natasha Denona at number 2, Rare Beauty at number 3, which you already heard. Number 4 is Tarte, and number 5 is Lancome, which really surprised me. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about Lancome, I guess at least YouTubers, but when it comes to just people who wear it every day, I guess I could see that. I know like my mother-in-law loves Lancome. Some other friends that I have really love their products as well. So that's really another brand that I haven't really tried much from. So I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. What are your favorite Lancome products? What are your favorite Rare Beauty products? Because I'd really like to check out those brands a little bit more since all of you guys really seem to love them. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about the absolute worst brands according to you guys. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll just do the top 5, both drugstore and high-end, then I'll break them out into separate categories. So the worst brand by far across the board, like there was no comparison, was Morphe. You guys really hate Morphe as a brand. So let's go over and see what you guys had to say. Okay, so the first one says quality of products and lack of ethics. I steer so far away from them. I won't even try any other brands from their parent company. Their eyeshadows make my eyes itchy. They seem boring and not that good of quality, but also tied to beauty guru drama. The next one says, I don't get along with most of their product formulas. They are overhyped and there are better affordable brands that share their price range that I would rather support. support. I also feel like their shadow formula is very hit or miss. It makes me not trust some influencers who still speak highly of every single Morphe release when a good portion of their stuff isn't that great. I've put them off my radar along with Revolution Beauty and all their sub-brands, which we will get to in a minute. Quality on most products is not good, even though people seem to hype them up. I would rather take Colourpop over Morphe any day. They have rude customer service, not a fan of their packaging either. I've only tried a few items, but the quality is poor. So yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with that. I have only tried a couple of things from Morphe that I really enjoyed. The first one being their continuous setting spray. That is actually a really good product. I love that. Also, their moussey blush that comes in a pot, I really enjoyed that as well. I thought that was pretty good. It reminded me of the NARS one, but yeah, their eyeshadows on me, they fade like very quickly. In my experience, their complexion products have been really drying. I don't think I've tried any of their lip products or mascaras or anything. Their brushes, while they start out okay, they tend to shed and they don't really wash well for me. So yeah, I would say Morphe is definitely up there for me as far as brands I don't like. Number 2 for you guys was Makeup Revolution, and that kind of doesn't surprise me either. To be honest, I didn't think they would be quite so high up on the list because they do have some good things. I'm loving their cream bronzer. These bright light highlighters, I'm actually wearing this one today, the Divine Dark Pink. It's kind of a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm. I really do like that as well. I love their concealer. I mean, they do have some good things, but their eyeshadows, I think, are very hit or miss for me. Most of the time, they're a miss. Other than the concealer, I have never really liked their complexion products. And they release so many collections, and they're just not good quality. I know that Colourpop releases a lot of collections too, but at least I know that if I'm gonna buy this collection, the quality is gonna be good. And with Makeup Revolution, I feel like maybe they should just release less and focus on the quality a little bit more than just constantly churn stuff out that's like very mediocre at best. So let's see what you guys had to say. The first one says, with the exception of their newest cream bronzer, yep, which I think is excellent, I find all the other products I tried to be less than impressive quality compared to many other drugstore priced products. Another thing, I don't like anything cheap and bad products. Could upgrade the quality. I don't find that their products work well for me. They also don't put out color stories that I gravitate towards, but I know there are people who like their stuff. This person said collections are way too big and unedited. I'm sure they have some good products, but they're buried under their unrelenting release schedule and massive collections. I totally agree with you. Their eye palettes all look the same, some random jumble of colors, usually unrelated to the collection's theme. Another person said they copy everyone else and most products I've tried are garbage. Yeah, that's another thing. They definitely do dupe a lot, but I think, you know, again, e.l.f. also dupes a lot of products like the Power Grip Primer, for example, or the new Halo Glow that dupes the Charlotte Tilbury. Like, at least those are good. And again, like I will say, they duped the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm wand, and I feel like they did a good job on this one, but you really just can't rely on it. I completely agree with you there. Brand number 3. This one shocked me because this was actually at the top of your best and favorite list, is e.l.f. So a ton of you guys actually really hate e.l.f. So I'm very curious to see why. I haven't read through all of the responses, so I'm really curious with this one. The first one says, I hate how much they've raised their prices since the beginning. There were actually a few people who said that. Another one said, I always find something is off. The shade is too vibrant or not vibrant enough, too sparkly, accentuates texture, whatever the reason, it's off. Rarely is it bad, but bad enough that I don't reach for it. I feel like I can spend a bit more for something better. Another one says, I just feel like all of the hyped up products don't work for me. I buy them because they look so good on other people, but when I use them, it looks horrible. I bought the putty. I'm not sure if it's the blush or the bronzer. I bought the putty and could not for the life of me get that to look good. Another person said, I've tried the tinted moisturizer, mascara, eyebrow mascara, and eyeshadow, and it's just okay. I've tried 3 different mascara formulas and they just don't work for me. I have to say, e.l.f. mascaras don't really work well for me either. I think Big Mood, the last one they came out with, was decent, but as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of their mascaras. So anyway, that was really surprising to me that e.l.f. is not only your second favorite brand, but it's your third worst brand as well. Number 4 on your list of least favorite makeup brands is Too Faced. I can kind of see this one. I think I know what you guys are going to say, but let's see. The first one says tacky and inconsistent. The next one says they discontinued my favorite base product line, the Peach Matte. Their palettes are just boring and repetitive, and their non-fruit scented liquid lips smell disgusting. All of the sex stuff is cringe. Sad because they used to be one of my favorite brands. Another one says too problematic and immature. Another one says, I don't really get excited about any of their products. I've tried their foundations and they don't work for me. They separate, plus the fair undertones are all whack, and their brand is just not something I vibe with. Another one says, I really liked this brand a decade ago when packaging and marketing was less gimmicky, but they doubled down on the cute, flashy packaging and scented products, and I just can't take the brand seriously. I really do think they can make great formulas, but part of makeup for me is the experience, and as someone in my late 30s, I don't want to feel like I'm wearing something that the 16-year-old version of me would have liked. And let's not get started on the brand drama. So yeah, I think that comment kind of like sums it all up right there. Another one says repetitive, both childish and sexy at the same time, which is just weird. Tacky, nothing innovative. They went downhill when they were bought out years ago. So actually, I agree with that. I think I've noticed a quality decline with them ever since they were bought out and the owners left. Their eyeshadow palettes are not the same for me. I just always felt like their eyeshadows were some of my favorites, and now I have issues with some of the shadows in every palette that I buy. So yeah, I wasn't really surprised by that one. And then at number 5, this one shocked me. It is Charlotte Tilbury. You guys really did not like Charlotte Tilbury, and I was completely surprised because I see her products hyped up so much on YouTube. But again, that's why I feel like these videos are so helpful, because it's nice to hear what the general population thinks about makeup brands rather than just YouTubers, because that's what I'm watching normally. And most of my friends and family are not really into makeup, so I don't really get to talk about this too much with them. So let's see why you guys don't like Charlotte Tilbury. The first one says, I don't get the hype. Their constant advertising is a pain in the A word, just in case there's any kids watching. Why is it that a lot of other brands are compared to Charlotte Tilbury? Honestly, I don't think their products live up to the holy grail status. Another one says, I've gotten so tired of her overly dramatic and kitschy commercials where she speaks about how every product is utterly amazing. It's honestly made me not want to try any of her products no matter how many rave reviews they do or don't get. Petty, but after working in retail for 33 years, advertising is important. Another one says, extremely overpriced for mostly overhyped products. Don't like their exaggerated marketing claims. Way overpriced and hyped to death for not universally flattering products. This one says the products are okay, but whenever I give in and buy something, I always realize that someone makes a less expensive version of the product for less, and the quality is at least as good. I completely agree with that. I have so many Charlotte Tilbury dupes that I think are just as good as the original. I think the thing that for me is appealing about Charlotte Tilbury is the packaging. It just looks like that sort of like Hollywood glamour, and it just looks expensive. Like it looks like something, you know, you'd want to pull out of your purse in front of people and use it because it just looks beautiful. But yeah, I agree when it comes to the actual makeup itself. I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible, but I also feel like there are definitely less expensive products that do the same thing. So just to quickly summarize, we have the worst makeup brands: Morphe, Makeup Revolution, e.l.f., Too Faced, Charlotte Tilbury. I'm really surprised that nobody mentioned Jeffree Star. That was one of the first ones I thought of. His brand was mentioned, but it wasn't in the overall like top 5 between drugstore and high-end. But now we're just gonna break them out really quick. So the worst drugstore brands for you guys were Morphe, Makeup Revolution, e.l.f., Maybelline was also on there, and L'Oreal. A lot of you guys said that Maybelline is not cruelty-free and that's why you don't support them, or that they just haven't really innovated in a long time, and some of their products like blushes and primers are kind of stale and they've just never really come out with new ones. And L'Oreal, there were a lot of complaints about the fragrance in the formulas, especially the lipsticks, that they're not cruelty-free, and also that their prices are too high for the drugstore and that you could just spend a little bit more and get high-end, so you felt like they weren't worth it. And then when it came to your 5 worst high-end brands, we had, again, Too Faced and Charlotte Tilbury. In the third spot was Jeffree Star. Anastasia Beverly Hills. And the comments I got for that were mostly about the owner being pro-Putin because I think she had liked a photo of him on Instagram or something. Almost all of the comments were about that. It had nothing to do with the actual products. And then the number 5 spot was Tom Ford. And a lot of you just felt like the products were very mediocre and super, super overpriced and overhyped. So anyway, guys, I felt like this was really eye-opening. Again, some things I expected, other things I was totally not expecting. And it really did make me think a little bit more about certain brands, either in a positive or negative way. So I'd just love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. What do you think about the results? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for spending time with me here today, for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it so much. If you're new to my channel and you like unsponsored makeup content and saving money on makeup, drugstore makeup, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.